Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. I'm back from my vacation, so my videos shall continue as normal. While I was away, I kept an eye on my YouTube channel. I was one of the winners of Jingle's video contest, and I've got quite a lot of new subscribers, so obviously thanks to Jingles for that, and thanks to all new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoyed here. Now let's take a look at this battle. Today we are watching Zampy in the Iowa, the tier 9 US battleship. He is on the map loop in a 3-point domination game mode, and it's a tier 10 battle. Now there is one carrier around, the carrier's only tier 8, so I guess that's good news, but there are quite a few destroyers. Well, the friendly team has more of them, but they are high tier destroyers, and yeah. Might be a few torpedoes around in this match. Now, I got this replay from wowreplays.com, and as usual there will be a link in the video description. Now, here at the start of the game, we can see there are quite a few ships here going towards point A. There are also a few ships towards C, and a lone destroyer who is trying to do something at B. So let's see how this turns out. And the enemies are already inside A, but there are two friendly destroyers around, so they can at least contest the cap. And maybe they can scare the enemy destroyer and force him to retreat. Looks pretty good at B, so far no enemies around here, and not sure how well they will do at C. There are some planes around here. If the planes can spot those destroyers, they might be forced to retreat. And the enemy destroyers around here are spotted, so the battle is beginning. Zampy has slowed his ship down here. He doesn't want to push inside that capture zone with those destroyers there. The friendly destroyers are already in the capture zone, so the point is contested. He doesn't need to be in there himself, and oh, I think this guy is going to take a torpedo hit. That's bad news, but at least he's still alive. Oh, there are still some reinforcements on the way, although I think this cruiser might just decide to go towards B. The friendly destroyer here did a good job. He managed to capture B. And it's also looking pretty good at C here. So it doesn't really matter if they are getting A, if they can get the majority of the capture points anyway. The friendly carrier here seems to be targeting the enemy carrier. He's trying to sneak his planes here along the zone wall. He will hopefully spot the enemy carrier at some point and be able to launch a devastating strike on him. But we shall see if he succeeds in his plans. Now there is an Izumo currently showing broadside, but the guns are reloading, so Zampy doesn't have a shot just yet. The Tirpitz is also showing broadside. Now he is deciding who to shoot. I think the Izumo is currently burning. Well, so is the Tirpitz. Unfortunately, the guns did not really reload in time. And this Tirpitz is coming closer. Now the Tirpitz has torpedoes with a 6-kilometer range, and if he continues to move toward the Tirpitz, he will sail right into the torpedo range. I'm guessing this Tirpitz has launched his torpedoes the way he turned. So Zampy is here reversing, I think, and making sure that those torpedoes have absolutely no chance of hitting him. Now the Tirpitz is turning around. He might try to launch the torpedoes from the other side, but I think he will hopefully dies before he has a chance to do so. And yeah, as you saw, those torpedoes, they didn't have the range. Now the Izumo is still around, and there might be enemy destroyers still around somewhere. Now the friendly team has managed to capture A, they have lost C. But that shouldn't matter that much. They still control the majority of the capture points, and this Izumo is probably taking a beating here. He's trying to retreat, but if he's turning his ship around, he has to show broadside, and he didn't really get punished that hard. But I guess he won't get away here. And there is a Fletcher, which could make this pretty uncomfortable. So there are probably torpedoes in the water. Izumo is still trying to retreat, but he's probably dead pretty soon. It looks like the torpedoes were aimed at the pits and not at Zampy. Also a friendly cruiser, I don't know who was shooting him, but he was getting into cover behind this island. Unfortunately, he's now pretty much out of position, and there seems to be an airstrike inbound. Now there are friendly fighters in order to help intercept this airstrike, but unfortunately the cruiser, I think it's a Des Moines, is out of position currently. And I think this enemy Des Moines will get hit pretty hard. Now the airstrike, I'm not sure who is going after. I think it's this Tirpitz. And the friendly fighters will hopefully do something about that. Yeah, the torpedo bombers, they pretty much down already. Now the enemies are capturing B, but the friendly team is not yet in a real position to stop that. Even if Zampy would have sailed straight towards B, he would have just obliterated by this force. He needs the support of his teammates. He needs to wait until this cruiser is back, until this battleship is in position. And maybe the guys here in the north are coming down here. And there is a Shimakaze at 7.3 kilometers. He is closing in fast. A Shimakaze has a lot of torpedoes. If those torpedoes are reloaded and if this Shimakaze can launch a strike, yeah, it will be pretty devastating. But it looks like, yep, the Shimakaze goes down without an opportunity to launch his torpedoes. Now the friendly team is still down one ship, and they have more points because, well, they had 2 capture zones for a long time. But now they need to regroup and push back and take B. I mean, they will lose over time, so they have to make something happen. Now the friendly team is kind of gathering around here. Hopefully they will be able to make a strong push and retake B. Now we see the enemies, they are also pretty much clumped up together, so it won't make it easy. Also, strangely enough, there seems to be a battleship. I don't know where this guy is going. He should probably try to reinforce his team here. And considering that the battle around here has finished a while ago, he is pretty much out of position. But, well, he can if he goes straight towards here. He still has a chance to support his team. Look at that, there is a Fletcher at pretty close range, the gearing as well, so there might be a few torpedoes incoming soon. And I think that Fletcher might have beached himself. So Zampy is once more slowing down his ships, probably putting it in reverse, trying to avoid any torpedoes already launched at him. And he got some hits on the Fletcher. Unfortunately, the Fletcher managed to get out of this situation. And lots of torpedoes incoming, not looking that great for the... Oh, I think the Des Moines dodged that. And Zampy should be able to dodge those as well. And look at that, there is a Tirpitz showing his broadside. Hopefully he can get a few good hits on the Tirpitz. And it seems there is an airstrike going on at the Des Moines. Unfortunately, the Des Moines was taken out. Des Moines does have great anti-air, but I suppose his anti-air consumable might have been on cooldown. And the enemies are actually trying to capture A now, which is pretty bad. But as the friendly team is in a position to maybe do something about it. Unfortunately, there are no friendly destroyers left and there are still 2 enemy destroyers around. Let's see how that will turn out. And there is the gearing. There are probably once more a lot of torpedoes coming this way. But the gearing is dealt with. Now that Fletcher is coming around the island, and that means he is trying to launch a torpedo salvo this way. There is also a rune hiding behind the island on the left. And the Amagi got taken out, but this rune is in a pretty bad spot. He is way too close to the Iowa, and he is... I guess the rune is turning in order to launch a torpedo salvo, but I'm surprised he is still alive. But that will change very shortly. I mean, the secondaries alone should deal with that. There are the torpedoes coming, but that was not aimed very well. So those torpedoes don't seem to be any sort of problem. The Fletcher is a way bigger problem. A Fletcher at 4 kilometers, that's bad. So there will be a torpedo strike any second now. Although, this island does provide quite a bit of cover, because the Fletcher would wanna launch the torpedoes in a way that the island interferes. And I think Zampy might actually be fine here. He can get into cover behind this island. This island is always blocking the best torpedo launch angle. And... well, that's it for the Fletcher. This Tirpitz also is getting wrecked by a friendly torpedo salvo. Suddenly, this pretty much looks like a win. I mean, they haven't won yet. The enemy still controls all capture zones. They will capture A shortly. But... yeah, there is this North Carolina here in the north, and there is a carrier somewhere down here. The carrier could just pretty much run away for the rest of the battle, I guess, and if the carrier manages to sink someone else, well, we shall see. The enemies still have a chance, certainly. Now it looks like this North Carolina is aggressively charging in. He's a bit late to the party, I'm not sure. Maybe he was trying to hunt down the enemy carrier here in the north. Now he is facing a Tirpitz and an Iowa. And I think the friendly cruiser is going after the carrier. Looks like the enemy carrier isn't actually running away yet. And there goes the friendly Tirpitz. So it's definitely gonna get interesting yet still. Now that North Carolina doesn't have very good odds in a brawl with an Iowa who has more hit points than he does still. But he might be going for the ram. If he just continues going straight at the Iowa, not like the Iowa is very mobile and has a good chance of dodging the North Carolina. And if Zampy would turn around here, then he is presenting his broadside to the North Carolina, so it's... We shall see how this turns out. If the North Carolina manages to ram here and that carrier gets away, the enemies could still maybe pull off a win by points. And there is the North Carolina. I think he's still going for the ram. Or maybe not. Yeah, he's closing in fast. He should turn a little bit in order to make sure that he actually can ram Zampy, but I think he is trying very hard not to show any kind of broadside. Or maybe he isn't even trying to ram. I think that the North Carolina should have tried. I mean, there is no way he is winning this battle otherwise. And there goes the North Carolina. And with that, there goes the chance an enemy victory. So this is going to be a win. All that remains is the enemy carrier, and I think the friendly Hipper has almost dealt with the Lexington. There is also a lot of friendly air support here in order to protect the friendly cruiser. And yes, this Lexington is burning, he is on very low health, and one of the next salvos will finish her off. There is the win. Now let's take a look at the results. Zampy managed to get 3297 base experience. It was certainly very well played by him. And yeah, he knew when to push and when not to. And I think he demonstrated some very nice battleship gameplay. Now he scored 111 hits with his secondaries, which shows that he was brawling quite a bit, got himself Confederate Kraken and a close quarters expert. He didn't do a lot of damage, but keep in mind he did shoot quite a few destroyers, and destroyers just don't have that many hit points. So it was, I think, very well played. It was an exciting game to watch, at least for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.